I would like to congratulate the AIWS team and specifically Dr. Amit for this wonderful show, and thanks for the opportunity. So, laser therapy in angle closure disease aims either at relieving pupillary block by creating a full thickness hole in the iris, that is laser iridotomy, or in selected cases making circumferential stretch burns in peripheral iris to open up the angle recess, as in peripheral iridoplasty. Pathogenesis of angle closure disease starts with anatomical abnormalities of anterior segment, which leads to iridotabicular contact and intermittent or sustained rise of intraocular pressure. And the management typically aims at relieving pupillary block by establishing a communication between anterior and posterior chamber of the eye, and thereby flattening the iris and opening up the angle. So we need to see that who needs laser PI. 2 decades back, Professor Siota and Agarwal looked at the profile of subtypes of angle closure glaucoma in 500 consecutive eyes at RP Center and reported that LPI alone reduced intraocular pressure in almost 13% patients. They also reported that laser iridotomy alone or with topical medication controlled intraocular pressure in 50% of acute angle closure glaucoma. The fellow eyes of acute angle closure crisis patients were studied in an Asian population and showed that laser PI prevents long-term intraocular pressure rise in majority of them. Coming to primary angle closure, Thomas et al. Looked at the 5-year progression rate of primary angle closure to primary angle closure glaucoma and concluded that nearly 30% of PAC eyes progressed to PACG and eyes without LPI progressed more. Coming to primary angle closure suspects, there is scanty data and variability on natural history of primary angle closure suspects, and there is inconclusive evidence of benefit of laser PI. So Thomas et al. In another study in primary angle closure suspects saw that the 5-year progression to PAC was 22%, and none of them developed primary angle closure glaucoma, and the benefit of laser PI still remained inconclusive. So there has been a real need for a randomized controlled trial like ocular hypertension treatment study to find out at-risk PACS eyes. The Junction Angle Closure Prevention Trial evaluated the efficacy of laser iridotomy in bilateral PACS eyes. It was a single-center randomized interventional controlled trial of PACS patients, of which nearly 900 bilateral PACS were included, aged 50 to 70 years, where LPI was done in one randomly selected eye, and other eye was at control. The primary outcome was PAC with PAS plus high intraocular pressure or acute angle closure glaucoma in 72 months' time. The incidence rate of primary outcome was 4.19 per 1,000 eye years in LPI eyes versus 7.97 per 1,000 eye years in control. And the primary outcome was there in 19 treated and 38 untreated eyes. And there was 47% reduction in the event rate. So they concluded that the risk of conversion to PAC from PACS is remarkably low, and the laser PI decreases the risk of unconversion. The benefit of laser PI is limited in community setting. So if we do laser PI in all PACS eyes, it will result in considerable overtreatment. So the LPI is actually indicated in the following scenario, where there is non-visibility of 270 degrees of posterior trabecular measure with blotchy pigmentation with a positive family history and having symptoms suggestive of intermediate angle closure, and where there is limited access to treatment or follow-up, or those patients who need frequent dilatation for their posterior segment pathology. Just to summarize, laser PI is indicated in acute angle closure disease, all fellow eyes of angle closure disease, PAC and PACG, and high-risk PACS eyes. So what is laser PI? It is essentially a full thickness hole in peripheral iris up to size from 200 to 500 micron. We should need to choose a thin area or crypt. Please avoid lid margin areas just to avoid diplopias and glare. Just to give a brief outline on the technique, preoperative 2% pilocarpine reduces intraocular pressure and iris thickness, and we need to give a topical alpha-2 agonist to keep the pressure under control. If the patient presents with very high intraocular pressure, preoperative mannitol is required. A contact lens acts as a heat sink. It keeps the beam focused and provides additional magnification. We should focus on the iris stroma to avoid extreme periphery. And please do not forget to ask the patient about regular use of anticoagulants just to avoid bleeding. The power should be around 2 to 6 millijoules, for size up to 70 micron, pulses per burst 1 to 3. Enlarge the hole horizontally, and the end point should be gush of the pigment mixed aqueous, where the iris falls back and the deepens of the AC, and we can directly visualize the antral lens capsule. Transillumination is not a good indicator of patency. The complications is usually a momentary visual blur, which can stay up to 1 to 2 days. Endothelial burn if we attempt a PI in a extremely shallow AC in the periphery, and IOP spikes, hyphema, and rarely PVD, CD, RD, or macular hole, and extreme rare cases we can have ciliary blood glaucoma also. In post-laser management, immediately intraocular pressure at 1 to 4 hours, 1 drop of topical alpha-2 agonist is helpful. IOP is high, we have to give systemic CAI or IV mannitol. Loteprednol for 7 days, and 2% Pilocar is indicated up to 4 days to keep the hole stretched for a longer patency. At 2 weeks and at 3 months, check patency of PI, check intraocular pressure and gonioscopy. We should remember that the intraocular pressure can remain low up to 30 to 45 days, so the long-term follow-up is mandatory. We should remember that relieving pupillary block often do not eliminate angle closure. So what is the answer to that? A residual angle closure post LPI. In Leuven eye study, we have seen that 20% of the eyes that had residual angle closure 2 weeks post LPI, where angle closure was defined as more than 270-degree functional closure on gonioscopy. And in another study by Bhaskaran et al., we saw that more than 80% of the PSAS had gonioscopic residual angle closure, and greater baseline iris volume and higher intraocular pressure at baseline were the independent risk factors for residual gonioscopic angle closure. So probably the answer is argon laser peripheral iritoplasty, which was described by Krasnov in early 19th century. And the procedure involves the application of contraction pulses burns at extreme periphery of the iris to retract it and pull it towards the center to make the angle open. So we need a myotic people under topical anesthesia under magnification in Abraham lens and to aim most periphery of the iris. And the parameters are the power up to 400 milliwatt, the spot size of 500 micrometer. And we need to 20 to 24 spots to cover up the whole procedure. In angle closure glaucoma, in acute cases, it can be used as an adjunct to LPI where the cornea is cloudy and the iris is extremely foggy. Sometimes we can also use in topiramate-induced bilateral angle closure crisis. And in chronic disease, we can use it in Plateau iris syndrome and adjunct to SLT or ALT. But what is the evidence? The recent Cochrane study, which recently published in 23rd March 2021 with the large meta-analysis, saw that there was no strong evidence in the use of laser iritoplasty in treating angle closure in non-acute or chronic angle closure glaucoma. In another interesting study, Dr. Narayan Swamy et al., they actually studied 80 PSC or PSCG subjects who had post-laser iridotomy and more than equal to 180 residual angle closure with intraocular pressure more than 21 millimeter of mercury. And they had randomized these patients either to 360-degree LPI or medical therapy with travoprost 0.004%, and after 1 year they saw that ALPI, that is argon laser peripheral iritoplasty, was associated with higher failure rates and lower intraocular pressure reduction compared with additional prostaglandin therapy. So to conclude, we need to see that the laser peripheral iridotomy remains the cornerstone of management of angle closure disease. The efficacy of laser peripheral iridotomy depends on the stage of the disease and underlying mechanism causing the closure. Evidence is lacking in use of laser peripheral iridotomy in preventing PSCG in PSCS, and there is no strong evidence in use of peripheral iritoplasty in chronic angle closure glaucoma. Thanks for your kind attention and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pal. I have just an observation to make. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Well, I think you quoted the ZAP study, but I think you forgot that in the ZAP study, what they did was that they did a provocative test first.
Yes.
And all that were the eyes that were positive on the provocative test, they did not include in the study. So they actually took away all those that would have shown some benefit. And therefore, that study is actually a completely useless study. So I think please keep that in mind. That,
that is a limitation of the study, madam.
It's a huge limitation. It's a useless study, but still it says that there was some use of doing an iridotomy. So please do an iridotomy in every patient where you think there is a suspicion or a likelihood of angle closure. It is a small procedure, very safe procedure if done with a Nd:YAG. So please do not hesitate to use it. The second thing is you didn't talk so much about PSCG. What is the role of an iridotomy in PSCG? So I think that's something else that we should keep in mind, that an iridotomy will relieve the relative pupillary block, which is almost inevitably additional to the plateau iris or the lens-induced sort of exaggerated lens vault and things. There is always some amount of relative pupillary block. So an iridotomy takes care of some of that. And in patients who already have synechiae, the iridotomy will allow the iris, which has not stuck to the trabecular meshwork, to fall back in areas, and may, in about 20 to 30%, it may allow medical control where otherwise you might be considering surgery. So it has a benefit in every stage. PSCS, there is no doubt. You must do an iridotomy. PSC, it will help you to prevent further progression. And in PSCG, if you do an iridotomy in 20 to 30%, you may help in getting medical control as compared to having to do surgery.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam, for the addition.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepanjan, for the excellent talk. And thank you, Dr. Sehota, for your pearls of wisdom on the subject.